The man had a twin brother that he wanted to be just like.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you'll be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's get into the video. So lovelies, I believe that by this time everybody have heard about the Reesateesa Who the Fuck Did I Get Married To episode, the 50-part episode that is trending everywhere. It's trending on TikTok, YouTube, it's every place is just trending. Guys, guess what? A lot of people, are just spectacle of watching all the 50 parts, and I am here with the summary of Who the Fuck Did I Get Married To by Reesateesa. Guys, I'm just gonna roll the clips as well as the stitches I was able to put together. If you've not heard the story, if you've not get yourself in touch with the story, this video will actually make you understand the whole part, the whole 50 part of Who the Fuck Did I Get Married. Guys, I'm just gonna roll the clip. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section and let's get into it.
All 50 parts of the Reesateesa Who the F Did I Marry videos in one singular part. Let's flow. Reesateesa and her ex-husband, who she calls Legion, met in March 2020, right before COVID, on 2 different dating apps, which was the first red flag. One was his real name, one was a nickname. They hung out a ton, and when COVID hit, they decided to quarantine at her house, which she agreed was a little fast. Not long after, she gets pregnant, they decide they need to get married. During all of this, they decide they want to buy a house. He can't show proof of funds. Unfortunately, she miscarries the child, and he doesn't even go with her to the surgery and says he has an important meeting for work. Allegedly, at this time, he works as a VP for a condiment company and leaves the house at 6:15 a.m. every morning and comes home at 3:34 p.m. Eventually, they continue the house search and she wants to see his accounts. He shows her a Chase savings account and a Chase checking account where he has money in it, but says he also has money from playing arena football in a U.S. bank account and an offshore account. Next on the list of things that started giving her pause was a car. She wants this dark blue BMW with cognac interior. He doesn't end up getting it for her, but he does buy a BMW, which he says is his work car that he keeps at some random building that he says the condiment company owns. Some other sketchy stuff happens. They get married January 2021. 2 weeks later, flips his vibe. Starts acting weird, accusing her of cheating, makes this some story that her ex showed up in a Dodge Charger at their house, but she confirms it's a lie because they have a Ring camera. But he does little things to keep her around, like printing out an itinerary for a trip on her dream vacation to London with flights and all that jazz. They try to get another house, third time, with a different realtor, this girl named Amber, and basically they pause it because he can't show the proof of funds, and this woman, Amber, basically gives her like this aha moment where she's like, you can either buy the house with him or I got you if you want to do it by yourself, and she's like, by myself is probably a better idea. Tons of other small things that happen but are important. They do marriage counseling with a pastor, but she also catches him doing Facebook Messenger with other women that he of course talks himself out of, but he moves into the guest room. She decides to pursue a new job opportunity and needs to put his social security number on the application. The one he begrudgingly gives her is basically different than the one that's on their marriage license. She looks at both. One has no records. One is completely different than what he said he did, which was live in California and have an ex-wife there. Through all this, he gets this knee injury at work, never gets it checked out. It turns into this debilitating injury where he's basically bedridden and he just brushes it off and says it's like an old football injury. One day he calls her and says the stepdaughter from his California marriage had passed away and they need to give $2,000 towards a funeral. Of course, she says yes, she's human. Does some more sleuthing and finds out basically that this California marriage actually happened in Georgia, and he basically lied about the whole story, and she was the one who divorced him and he couldn't even pay for the divorce fees. Finds the ex's phone number, ends up calling her, and basically the ex is like, if you're calling me, I know it's bad, don't believe the thing he says, everything he is a lie. They have a good conversation, she keeps most of it to herself. Continuing her sleuthing, she finds his mom's obituary where she learns 2 more things. 1, he has another ex-wife that he never talked about, and 2, the 2 sisters he claims to have don't exist. In the midst of this, he changes jobs, he's bedridden, and basically he's just sitting there slugging Powerade every day. One day, she turns on his old work phone and finds texts and confirmations that he's been seeing a sex worker. Obviously, it doesn't even surprise her at this point. One thing leads to another, where June 2021, on his birthday, she confronts him in bed where he had been peeing in those Powerade bottles, which is disgusting. They have a huge blow up, they're on the phone with family members. She kicks him out, he leaves with 2 bags of clothes. Eventually, they're texting about the divorce. She goes to file, and his cousin calls her and is like, who are you? What's going on? What's happening with this divorce? He just showed up and we haven't talked to him in years. Basically, she confirms all this stuff is completely made up that he's been saying, and she's like, he's been lying since he was little. I'll get you in touch with his brother so you can work this out. She requests to meet Legion at a UPS so they can do the signature for the divorce papers. He shows up, same clothes, has basically been living out of his car, smells, and is even smaller than he was before. In the conversation with the cousin, she basically finds out that he has a twin, and that's basically who he's been pretending to be, with the VP title, the luxury car, the family house, and she's like spiraling. She ends up calling the brother, they talk, he basically said, I haven't spoken to him in 5 years, and she's like, what? Every single morning we woke up and he was on the phone with you and we would like be talking to you, and basically it turns out he was talking to himself the entire time. The brother confirms that basically everything he said about his family he made up, including like where his parents are, how they passed, what siblings he has, all this is insane. And he tells her that he has a criminal record. Then she starts doing reverse Google image searches on all these things that she found on his work phone, which were the Chase bank account statements and the BMW and all that stuff, and she basically finds out that he just found them on Google. When all this happens, his aunt calls her and is like, what's going on? He's trying to ask me for financial help, and she's like, oh yeah, we got a divorce. We tell her, and she's like, oh, but what happened to the baby? She's like, we don't have a baby. And she's like, no, what? He's been coming to Augusta for months telling me he's gonna bring the little boy and that you guys are getting divorced and he's bringing the little boy with him. And she's like, that's not true. Eventually, she looks up his criminal records, finds out he's gotten arrested for things like suspended license, trespassing, but the most important one to her was that he got arrested for impersonation of an officer. Now we're in August 2021, he's basically disappeared, she can't find anything about him, and basically starts reaching out to every single person on Facebook he's ever mentioned to try to figure out where he might be. They all want nothing to do with him. She finds out that he checked himself into a hospital for 2 weeks so he could have a bed, ends up calling her 30 times a day, every hour of the day, and she basically calls the police and is like, he's stalking me, he's harassing me. The police say there's a warrant out for his arrest. When he shows up, call us and we will come and arrest him. That's what they do. She's watching from a car across the street. They arrest him. He gets out of the car, same clothes, still living in his car, even smaller. She said he was a 3X, now he's a medium, and basically he peacefully gets arrested, but he wants to talk to her. They exchange a few words while the police officer is there with the body cam, and she's basically like, I never want to see you again. She gets a letter that the divorce is finalized. She's crying with relief. She also donates all this stuff to a domestic violence shelter and calls the car to get it repossessed. And she's like, I'm out of here. I'm moving. This is it. He's done. He's in jail. It's good. She's scheduled to move on August 31st, and his court session on August 29th, 2 days before, they find out the warrant's expired and he's getting released on the 30th. She goes to stay with her aunt on the 30th, so there's no contention there. She basically wakes up, moves within 2 hours, boom, done, doesn't hear from him until December 2022, 5 months later. She's out from work from COVID, and basically he calls work trying to find her, and she sends him one last message, and it's like, if you ever try to contact me again, I will get a restraining order, and she never heard from him again. That's the story. Basically, she then does like a whole Instagram live, but the moral of the story is she's an amazing storyteller. It had everyone hooked. I hope she gets a lot of brand deals. I hope she gets her BMW and gets to go on her trip to London. Obviously, do your due diligence, talk to people, go watch her series because she deserves to be supported. But I just gave you all the deets, and now do with it what you will. Summarizing all 50 parts of the Reesateesa.
For those of you who need the Cliff's Notes version, let's get right into it. Who TF, because I do not say certain curse words, but Who TF Did I Marry is a cautionary tale about a creator here on this app that decided to candidly share her story and how it mentally drained her. Now, there are three major components of this series. One, of course, the introduction of how they met and some of the things that happened in the interim. Number two is when they got married and kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. And then three, what was the aftermath after she discovered everything that she needed to discover and how she got out. Now, there were several red flags that she pushed past throughout the duration of the relationship, but right before they got married, the major offenses of this other person that she was with was that he was lying about status, his ability to be able to acquire certain luxury items or luxury items to what she deemed in her mind, and his familiar connections, his family connections. Those three areas seem to be very real to her, but in the interim, she just finds out that they're false. Now, there's a very important interlude that she makes during one of the 50 parts. I don't remember. Don't ask me. You didn't watch it. That's why you're here. But that interlude explains the three main reasons why she pushed past everything she knew to be true to marry this individual anyway. Those three things were, she did not want to be alone during COVID. She didn't want to look stupid in front of her friends and family. And she really just wanted to be married, which, to highlight, none of those things really have to do with anything as far as being in love or even liking the person. What she does acknowledge is that she was in love with the fact that she had someone that stepped in as a provider and was actually giving her the comfort of being taken care of. Now, in the last little bit of my explanation, I'm going to explain to you exactly how he was able to really manipulate this and really work to his advantage. Because one of the things that I kept asking myself as I watched this series is, what was his end game? Like, what was he trying to accomplish here? And the answer to this question was, there was absolutely no motive. He's a pathological liar. And the very nature of a pathological liar is that they're very fragile creatures, actually. They're constantly in self-preservation mode, constantly making themselves bigger than what they actually are. And the nature of his lies point to that in great detail. So as far as that's concerned, that's just what it was. At the end of the day, we've all been in a position like this a time or two in our lives. Maybe not to this extreme, but at least at some point. And we should show this creator a little bit of grace and mercy because she's mentioned that this is sort of a cathartic event for her. She's using this as a tool for therapy to undo some of the traumas that she experienced. If you haven't watched it, go check out some other parts. If you can't.
For those of you that don't want to watch the 50-part Who the Fuck Did I Marry TikToks, I will summarize here. Basically, this really kind, nice, and also intelligent woman goes on this date with this guy. He tells her he's like a VP of a company. He just moved to Atlanta, Georgia for his job. Said he had a bunch of money in an offshore account from arena football and also maybe from his high-paying job, allegedly. COVID hits, so they quarantine together. He keeps telling her he's gonna buy a house. They go look at houses. There's always an excuse. Something always happens. It falls through. He had provided her with some paperwork, like a Chase pre-qualified loan. He would talk to his family every day. Never on speakerphone though, so he didn't know who was on the other side of that phone call. They eventually get married. He keeps having issues when realtors ask for proof of funds, and so she gets a little bit suspicious. She realizes, hey, he actually hasn't put offers on these houses that he's claimed he's put offers on. And she basically realizes that everything that he's ever told her is a lie. She contacts his ex-wife. He pretended the ex-wife had a daughter that died. Did not happen. The ex-wife basically corroborated what she had already believed, was that everything out of this man's mouth was a lie. He did not have money. He was like paying for things though, but not expensive things, you know, just like little things here and there. It wasn't like he was a total mooch off of her, and it doesn't look like he's done anything destructive to her financially, which is very positive. He did put a different social security number on his marriage license than on a form that they had filled out for her job because she needed to do a background check when she was getting a new job, which is kind of how a lot of this came out. Then she's able to run like a more thorough background check on him when she has his proper social, and at some point realizes that he was a felon. She ends up in contact with his family and realizes that none of them speak to him, so all of these phone calls that he has every morning, it's like either nobody's on the other side of that or somebody else is, but she's kind of thinking nobody ever was. And he was having like full-fledged conversations like with the phone up to his ear every day. So she basically talks to his family and they're like, we've all cut ties. He's been a liar since he was a kid. Even the people that she had met in his life, she recontacts them and they're like, they've cut ties with them. So he has like no real friends or family. Like everybody seems to have issues with him. And so her story is basically about uncovering these things and how good of a liar he was. He was doing like a lot of Google screenshots like of his bank statement. Like he would just screenshot something and then like pretend like he was like logging into his bank and be like, oh, here, like here's my checking account statement. So she thought that he had some money, but there were definitely like red flags along the way. And so I think the interesting part to this is that she's very well spoken, she's very organized, she's clearly intelligent, she gives some great analogies along the way, and she's also like holding herself, I don't want to say accountable, that's probably not the right term, but like she's very self-reflective, which is appreciated. She tells you kind of the good and the bad. You kind of feel for her. She was like going through COVID lockdown, she really wanted to find her partner, and she's just very likable. I am curious now that this has become so public, like what else is going to come out about him, because, you know, she's obviously able to find out a lot because she's quite curious and did a lot of research, but I'm sure there's more that people don't know, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out. And since he was like writing different social security numbers, like I'm wondering if there's something there. I had asked a question in my last video about, you know, if the marriage could have been voided. I had I did do a little bit of research, and some states do say that, like, if your partner didn't tell you that they were a felon prior, that might be grounds to voiding the marriage. However, I think Georgia is a little bit more difficult, but I do think that there's, like, enough there to potentially have some type of an argument for fraud. I definitely don't think I did her justice, but that is kind of a very, very high-level overview of her 50 parts.
As a married woman, I watched Who the F Did I Marry, and this is a 1-minute summary of what I saw. Let's go. She met this guy on a dating app, A couple of days later, they were supposed to meet up on a date. On her way, her tires burst. The guy came over to help her and paid for the tire. The guy had lied and said that he recently moved to Atlanta from San Diego because he had gone through a divorce. He said that he was looking for a house. 2 weeks later, they moved into her house. Red flag number 1. But she obviously ignored it, understandable, because the guy was paying for all of the bills. A couple of months later, the girl fell pregnant, and when she was about 9 months pregnant, she had, a miscarriage of some sort. They couldn't find the baby's heartbeats. She had to go to the hospital and get the baby's remains removed. The guy didn't come to the hospital to be with her because he had lied and said that he was a VP of some kind of company, which he lied about as well. He came about 3 hours after her surgery was done to pick her up. The guy had lied and said that he was always on the phone with his family, and he was always talking on the phone with the family, but only to find out that it was all a lie. He was not on the phone with his family. He was just making all of it up. The guy had lied to her and said that he was going to find a house with her. They would find realtors, only to find out that the guy didn't have the money that he claimed to have, and it was just all a lie. They were wasting the realtors' money, and he had no money. He had lied and said to her that he was going to get her a BMW. He didn't have the money for the BMW. He lied to her and said that he was going to take her on trips overseas. It was all, basically, he just lied about everything that he was saying to her was just a lie. And I think that by the end, then she ended up finding out that the guy had actually been to prison, and the reason why he was working part-time as a forklift driver, and he had lied and said that he was a VP of some company. So he would always call her while he was at work and lie to her and say that, I think there's some construction happening at his work, and he was always on site, only to obviously find out that he actually wasn't. He was at work, but he wasn't a VP. And I guess that my conclusion as a married woman would be, I know everyone keeps saying she moved too fast. Let me tell you guys something. I've met couples who have been married for 50 years and above, who met and 3 months later were married. So honestly, there's no formula when it comes to this whole relationship and love thing. However, my advice, which is what I did when I met my husband and he made his intentions very, very clear to me, I told him that I didn't want to create or go through any more trauma, and I didn't want to cause any more trauma for anyone else. So if he wants us to be together, then we need to go to therapy, and our dates were going to see a therapist. And that is just my advice to any other woman out there or any other person. Instead of wasting money on going on dates to get to know a person on a date, I was like, we're gonna go to therapy. And that's why when some of you are always asking some intrusive questions that I don't share, it's because I know my husband's boundaries. I respect his boundaries because we have been to therapy. And like I said, there is no formula to this thing, but do not ignore the red flags. And I know that I'm doing this more than a minute, but I hope that it really helped, because it is 500 minutes of a story that I try to summarize as much as possible. Okay, I hope that helps.
Somebody better get Reesateesa a contract and a check, or there is nothing sacred in this world. Okay? Nothing. This lady has made a series on TikTok called Who the Fuck Did I Marry? It is about how she married a pathological liar during the COVID lockdown and slowly had all of this revealed to her over a year that everything he did was a lie. She explains this over a 50-part TikTok series. Each video is 10 minutes long. That is 500 minutes of content. Do you understand how expensive that is in an attention economy? It's an amazing story. Every second of it. My wife was explaining it to me last night. I cannot stop thinking about it. Every second of it. Reveal after reveal. Cliffhangers. Okay? We need this on broadcast TV, not streaming. I need everyone in America to be able to see this so we can have conversations about it at water coolers again. That's one of the problems. That's why we all don't see eye to eye, by the way. Because all of us are watching different streaming services and everything's on demand. We need this Thursdays at 9 p.m. on a broadcast channel. NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox. I don't care. Just not Tubi or Netflix. That's my only rule. Not Tubi. because it won't have a budget, and not Netflix because they'll get the fucking casting wrong. Call Reesateesa, Hollywood, okay? Stop making AI generated movies like Madam Web. Stop doing live action versions of old cartoon shows. Go find people like Reesateesa who can hold people's attention on fucking TikTok for 500 minutes. Do you understand me? 500 a work day. She has Lord of the Rings is 558 minutes long with the credits. She made Lord of the Rings over 4 days while driving. So somebody out there in Hollywood, find Reesateesa, give her a check and a contract and maybe a good man. I think she also just needs somebody who is just gonna be nice to her, okay? Thank you.
Like, seriously, lovelies, before I actually go on with my own thought in this, who the fuck did I get married to, I want to use this medium to say that this woman, oh my goodness, she is a genius. Can you believe she actually had 50 series of this, life experience, like 50, and each of the 50 comes with 10 minutes. With 10-minute video, and she took her time, narrated it. It was so engaging. This actually got a lot of people talking. This actually got a lot of relationship. A lot of people are just trying to watch their relationship. People are opening their eyes to relationship. This got couples all over the world, TikTok, Twitter, internet. Everybody is just reacting. People are watching closely to their couples right now. There are a lot of questions, like a lot of people, began to use this, trend to actually, watch their couples, to know more about their couples. This is an eye opener to every relationship. This is an eye opener to everyone. Like, seriously, when I wasn't able to, listen to all the 50 parts, but I was just able to listen to some of it, like 80% of the parts. And that is why I was like, okay, why not just put it in a summary so that people that that actually was my shoe, who got busy with one thing or the other, can actually know what is happening, like the stories and what she have to say, just in a summary, guys. Like, this is just a kudos to Reesateesa. She is a genius. She's actually on her way to Paris right now. She just want to cool up because, wow, a lot of endorsements are coming her way. She's been known. People want to do something with her. Like, she's been known. And guess what? The husband was even found out. Okay, apparently this woman actually met her husband, who happens to appear like too good to be true. Like, he appeared to be someone, or he's actually positioning himself to be someone that he's actually not. This person has been to prison before. This person, is just perpetuating a life of his twin brother, who he felt that was his life, and he used this to get to know this woman who wanted husband by all means, who wanted to place the society with the force of, oh my god, you need to get married, with the force of, see, that's one thing about society will push you to like do something you don't want to do, and after which you regret it. She's so bent on maybe getting married. She don't want to be alone in the COVID, period. One thing led to the other, she met this man. She met this man who appeared to be, oh my god, like rosy. You know how relationship is when they start up with this relationship of a thing. This man decided to fill her with so many lies about himself, from owning a car, house, family. Like, oh my goodness, there was a lot in this 50 parts, which I was just able to put up some stitch that summarized it. But the one that actually made me to like, wonder what is really happening in the relationship of today is the one that he makes calls, like he tried to talk with people on phone, meanwhile he's actually talking with himself. Why would you do that? You are making calls, but you are actually talking to yourself, fooling your partner. What kind of relationship do we have these days? Like, seriously? This actually got a lot of people to open their eyes. There are a lot of lies in the relationship. People don't want to open up. A lot of people build the relationship with lies. A lot of people don't want to open up. Like, this actually got me thinking. And the fact that when the wife actually asked her, his statement, because apparently he was telling her about, getting a house, calling agents, and all of that. But all those were lies. They were all lies. When she asked of statement, he decided to go on Google to download it and send to her. Like, how could someone go this far? And you think you will not be caught up with? Do you know what is karma? They say that every day is for the thief and one day is for the owner of the building. How could he pretend? Like, the pretense was so massive. You're living with someone you are not, free with, you are not open with, you cannot even tell the person the real you. He went ahead to use, like, later on, people decided to, confirm that he actually went ahead to use his twin brother's identity. Everything that he claimed that he owned, everything, that he talked that he is, was all lies, fantasy, and I wonder how he was able to live up to that. And this woman was just blindly, I don't want to say if maybe she was in love, or I just want to say, or should I say maybe the fact that she just wanted to please everybody. She wanted to please her family, her friends, the society, or the name that I want to get married. They just decided to fall for this kind of person who happens to be a deception. This guy is a fat deceptionist. Like, seriously, how was he even able to put up with such lies? People can be very dangerous. People can be very dangerous. This story, this 50 series, actually got a lot of people talking. You can see when you go on TikTok or whatever, you see the way people are just listening, and this is an eye-opener to relationships. Like, the partners we have for today, I don't know why they keep on hiding things from each other. I do not say the majority, but some. This is an eye-opener to everyone in a relationship today. You need to know the person you're dating. You need to know where this person, like, everything about this guy particularly is false. He forged everything to the extent that when he's calling, when he's on phone with someone, he's actually talking to himself. It's a lie. Everything about him is a lie. Right from the day he met her, it's all a lie. And she just, got fed up. The one that actually baffles me was the fact that during the course of the divorce, he needs to lie to his own family about having a child with Risa. Like, seriously? To that extent, he's actually lying with the woman he's with, and he's also lying to his family as well. That means he's actually a terrible person. His family know how terrible he is. You are lying to your family that, okay, I'm coming with a baby or something, that they have to call Lisa, and Risa have to tell them that, no, I don't have a baby. What baby are you talking about? Like, seriously? Do you even know that the ex-wife came out to agree to whatsoever that Risa was talking about? His ex-wife was telling how terrible this woman is. The ex-wife was telling how terrible this man was to her. though she has moved up and she has moved on long time ago. Seriously, some dude can go to some extreme to remain at a certain level. Probably he have seen her kind of person, he have seen maybe her achievement, or one way or the other he got intimidated and want to see if he can meet up, or if he can actually look up to her own standard. Like, I think some men actually does this. Men like women that are maybe independent or something, and when they see that they cannot meet up to the standard of this particular woman, they felt that they are actually connected with it, decided to lie to fit into her standard. But this was so extreme. This was really so extreme. They met, they fell in love. I don't know if it's love, I'll call this. But the narration of the summary of this is that this said man is a pathetic liar. Everything about him is a lie. His age, like where they gave birth to him, lies. His relationship are all lies. What he has lied that he has acquired are all false. He's actually trying to betray his own brother. How could you go to this extent? You even marry this woman, the woman get your name, and you still have the nerves to continue putting up with the lies. To what extent exactly? To what extent will you continue lying and lying even when you're hurt? You continue lying. Like, I keep on telling people that this is actually a eye opener to some relationship. Reesateesa coming out to vent all of this doesn't mean that this actually happens to only someone like her. There are a lot of relationships like this. There are a lot of relationships that is not transparent. A lot of lies in the relationship. Everybody want to put up. Everybody don't want to be open. They don't want to be, they don't want to say the way it is. Or because of some selfish reasons. Now, what could probably be the reason why this guy, decided not to come out clean? He decided not to come out, very open, clean, and open-minded. I don't even know the reason why he have to go this far. Like, you have to lie about everything to the extent that you have to go on Google to download and send to your wife that this is like, oh my god, this guy is a genius liar. He needs to win an award. Seriously. I actually started the part, the first part, and at some point I became so busy. But if you see these videos, see the series, you could just give yourself some time, go there and see everything. But in case you don't have that time, everything of the summary is just here. This is just the key points. The first person I stitched her video, she is actually on point. She is on point. Like, women, most especially, I think that women are most in the receiving end in terms of relationship. They're the one that is losing. Seriously. How could they put up with such a thing for a very long time? That everything about you is just a lie. How are we even sure that the surname is even real? And he even went as far as also lying to his own family, trying to make it look as if he have a kid with Reesateesa. Seriously, this guy can go to so many extents to prove a point. And this kind of people are very dangerous. They are very dangerous. They can go to extreme just to prove a point. When I saw this, and I was like, okay, because this got a lot of, sparse corporals reacting on TikTok. So many people were reacting to it. Like, it was just something that was just throughout this week. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. It's an eye opener. His identity is fake. Everything about him is fake. What is acquired, the cars, everything he talked about are all fake. Like, how did he even do this? After that, he has this rest of mind that, okay, I have done something. Is it that his conscience are not even judging him that I am actually deceiving this young, hard-working, good woman? Like, how could you? How could you just lie and you're so, okay with yourself for doing such a thing? Like, people are reacting to it. A lot of people have learned so much. She actually coming out here to open up and spill the tea is such a relief, because this thing is still going on even today as we speak. There are a lot of women in her shoes, all because of society pressure, all because of what my family or my friends would talk about. Okay, let me just meet someone, get married to the person, and let me just be at this missus. Meanwhile, you are actually getting yourself involved with something that you will not appreciate. So why did she get married then? If marriage will come with a lot of lies, fallacy, then why then did she get married? Because this whole thing with marriage have to come with a lot of sacrifices. It's not a baby thing. Marriage is an institution, it's not a baby thing. So why can't you just open up with your pastor? How was he even able to put up with the lies? I keep on wondering how he was able to put it up. The lies were so massive that anytime I remember what the fuck did I get married, I was like, oh my god, okay, let me just go back and continue with the episode. I have to stop, and it's still the same thing. And another thing I want to acknowledge with is the fact that Reesa actually cancelled herself. The place she messed up, she talked about it. She talked about how she messed up, how she accepted her own fault as well. This is when I know that this woman, she is real. She's actually spilling it all the way it is. Where she messed up and she felt that she has actually, she cautioned herself as well. So that is why I actually believed her. I believed whatever she said. And now people found out, trust internet, people found out the husband, and he is saying that she is lying. But the face of the witch that says she's lying actually looks like someone that has lies and deception in him. Wow. Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes. So please share this video to so many women, subscribe, and so many men as well, so that at least they can change. Subscribe to my channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload my next one.